straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
It's episode 104 of the Everything Noob podcast. I am Vortek, joined this evening by...
Dreadlow.
Yes. I didn't know if you'd catch it that time. I always try to throw you guys.
Oh, yeah. Usually you say it, and then if there's a little bit of a pause there, and I know I have to chime in.
Yes. Well, we are YouTubers of sorts, and we are here to bring you a podcast. And we have a theme every week, and this week's theme is going into survival games. We talk a lot about survival games on the show. Just like this whole survival, first-person survival genre where you go out and you craft and you build and you mine, and you've all seen that before. But we're going to focus specifically on the fact that these games seem really, really similar, and we have a bunch of examples and stuff like that. And we also have an Indie Spotlight coming up in the show as well, and perhaps if we have time, maybe we'll talk about our trials in World of Warcraft as of late as well. So thank you for joining us, and I'm just going to kick it off right now by talking a little bit about my channel. I've been doing, kind of revamping it. My goal was to get away from Minecraft. I used to play Minecraft exclusively on my YouTube channel, as Dreadlow did as well. We're both big Minecrafters, but I wanted to get away from that, bringing my channel back, because it's kind of been, it's overdone, and I want to do something new and exciting. And in order to do that, I decided to play something, another survival game, but something that wasn't made out of blocks. Everyone, if you're playing a game made out of blocks, it looks like a Minecraft clone, or it's Minecraft. So instead, the game that I chose to play was Tug, which is awesome. Like it's an up-and-coming game, and it's very, very similar. You start out in this big open world, and there's not a whole lot to, do goal-wise, but you just go and collect materials, and you set up a base, and then you can build. But it's not made of blocks until you start building, and then as you build, they have these features that make the blocks all kind of fade together, which looks really nice. But all in all, at the end of the day, you're still playing a sandbox survival game where you go out, collect materials, and then build things. And I've just kind of realized that you can't escape this in so many of these games. I mean, what else have you seen this in?
Forest,
Yep, that was a new one too.
And I want to say Rust, but Rust is more multiplayer, more so than just your single player survival type game like Tug or like Minecraft. But it fits in there because of the fact that you got to survive. I mean, you're playing with real players, but you still have to collect resources. You're able to build. You're able to do same exact thing, just a completely different idea of the way they put it out.
Yeah.
I've seen some top-down. I've seen some 2D survival games. I mean, a great example is Weem's Epic Adventure. We got, Starbound. All those are pretty much a survival game. Same idea. You build and you put things together. Terraria was one of the first ones to start out with a 2D side-scroll type thing. So, yeah. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of ways they put it out there, but it's the same thing.
It's hard because you get trapped in this, especially trying to make YouTube videos. There's so many YouTubers out there who will play things such as Call of Duty, and we're going to see a lot more of that. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare just came out. I haven't been a big FPS gamer as of late, though, so I didn't, we could have easily made the show about that, but I don't plan on picking it up. I know you don't.
That'll be next, by the way.
What?
Call of Duty survival game.
Oh, yeah. People enjoy watching other people just get their, no-scope sniper shots and things like that. That's not the kind of gamer I am. I wanted to do something a little more open-ended. I could sit there and play Super Mario, but you know how it's going to end. If I'm bad at the game, I'm not going to get anywhere. If I'm
There's
good
a pattern,
I'm gonna beat it.
There's a pattern or a storyline or something that you have to follow. It's the same thing with me. Like, I'm doing a LODs online, and I'm just going through doing quests and stuff, but it's a pattern. It's the same thing. I'm sure there's 100 videos out there like that.
Well,
but,
even with an MMO, you could have customization. I'd settle for that if I felt my audience would dig me playing World of Warcraft on my channel. But I'm not sure I even dig that. I get so quiet and focused when I'm playing WoW. You know how that is, but
Yeah.
it just, as long as there's some level of customization, as long as I can play this game differently than the next guy you're going to go watch play it, it's something I'm interested in. So generally, I default to these survival games. You know,
Right, because it's completely open-ended.
yeah, you could have 100 different people playing Tug, and each one's gonna have a different experience than the other. So
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool to watch the progression too. Like watch this guy go from like this flat plane in episode 1, and then by episode 30, he has town, fully established town with like buildings everywhere and paths going to all of them. And you watched him create every single one, and I really enjoyed doing that when I was playing Minecraft.
It's like with Planet Explorers, the same thing. I watched this guy from starting from day one when he did his first, quest or whatever inside Planet Explorers, and then he, because you follow a quest line, but at the same time it's very open ended, so he could do anything that he wanted. And I watched him build his whole colony and everything. And I was intrigued by it. And then Ween, he also did Planet Explorers, and I was just intrigued by some of the things that he's built and put together. So yeah, that seems to be popular.
Yeah, it's fun. It just I had to struggle the other day because I was sitting down to record some Tug, and in my previous episode I had said I'm gonna go around and try to fix some of these spots that keep popping up, like on my land. Like, you know how Tug isn't made out of blocks. I'm going to try to explain this. There's no visuals here on, if you're not watching the video podcast, you're listening to audio. There's no visuals to reference. Just try to follow me for a second. If you've ever seen Minecraft, you know it's made of blocks. So you put a block on top of another block on top of another block, and that's just how you build upwards. And the land kind of slopes like that. It's just blocks. Well, when you introduce a half slab to the mix, you put half a block down, and if you try to place a different block on top of that, it kind of floats above the next air. You know what I mean? Like, imagine half a block, and then try to place a different block on top of it, a full block. It's going to float above that half block, because it thinks it's sitting on a full block.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's like it's like just the text. It's just a half a block that's textured. I mean, it's a whole block that's textured halfway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there's an invisible part of that block that's missing.
And it only responds to other half blocks of the same exact type. That's when you can place other half blocks on top. Anyway,
yeah.
So in Tug, there's no half slabs, but there are blocks. They're just not visible as as if they're blocks. So when you go to build something, you have a little invisible cube thing you can move around, and that's where the block is going to go. In the land I picked, it's nice and flat, so that's why I picked it. But when you place something down, it pops halfway out of the ground because I'm on like a half slab instead of a full block.
Oh, so the whole area that you're in is kind of like a half slab.
Yeah. So when I go to flatten land, it doesn't understand that I'm trying to get the land back down to where it started, where it generated originally. It wants to come up another half block. And that's frustrating to me because everything I've built thus far has been on this, other plane. So in order for me to even everything out again, I have to place blocks everywhere to flatten the area. And I'm just not about to do that. I'd sooner go find a different area, but the goal of my Tug series is to build a town. And then I go do some research on it, and people have taught me some ways to for easier terraforming. They're like, well, if you make a shovel, you can do this and you can do that, and so on and so forth. I'm like, okay. But then someone said, hey, you should really check out the dev build of Tug right now because the terrain leveling is completely improved. It's totally different. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Is that can I carry my current map over to it? And they're like, I don't think so. And then someone else said, no, it'll break it. It won't work. And then that's when this all kind of hit me. Tug is an alpha game. And when you have an alpha game like this, every time we've seen it in Minecraft, every time they update the game, we're going to have to delete our entire world and start anew. And
oh, wow.
That sucks. I can't do a series like that. You know what I mean?
It's hard, and that's the thing. You're dealing with an alpha game that's not even completed yet, so you're going to have these problems. I mean, it's funny because Minecraft is actually a complete game, and we still kind of have to do that sometimes, especially when they decide to change something in the terrain generation. Then that's it. We're screwed. We got to redo everything, including our servers.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Oh, the
so,
server's a whole nother story. Don't even be started.
yeah. But I mean, it's like it's and that's a complete game. That's not even alpha. So I don't know. But but yeah, with the alpha game, we definitely, it's the same thing with the forest. I know this one guy, basically because uh, I mean, it's recommended. I'm sure that it will break. I don't know if the guy's actually tried it, but it's recommended that you restart. And so you could tell when these people I follow that I watch the forest, and when they're doing the forest, and their next episode is the forest, and I go on there and it's the plane wreck again. I know they had
Yeah.
to start over
It just,
every time.
And I know a lot of YouTubers who struggle with that too. Our friend Dark Newt, who's been on the show before, he's like so dedicated to trying to do like a complete series, but there's been times where something gets screwed up and he gets so pissed and he's telling me, man, I went to record my next episode, the world got corrupt, and now I have to start a whole new world, and I feel stupid because I'm on episode 10, but I'm starting over as if I'm on episode 1 again. And I'm like, I've been there, man. It sucks. Especially as an early Minecraft adopter, you players know that nothing is worse than when you have a map, you're proud of it, and you've explored a bunch, and then one day, because of like several updates to the game, you see like this chunk error. Like 2 biomes tried to merge, but they failed, and there's like this weird wall in front of you, and you're like, what the hell happened
Or
here?
a pit to hell or something.
Yeah. And then it used to be really bad, like on Minecraft servers, where we had one server once where parts of our map would duplicate themselves, and just chunks of things would place themselves on top of people's homes. Like we had this arena, and part of the arena, like this guy was like, hey, someone griefed my house, I think. And we're like, okay, so we teleport to him. And there's this really familiar looking just section of something sitting where his house was. And we're like pondering forever, and I start to like fly around the area, and I make my radius wider and wider, and eventually I see a mountain that looks all messed up. Like it duplicated itself and split in half and did something weird. And I'm like, you know what happened here? No one griefed him, because this is a really strange grief. This is a chunk error. And we looked at the part again, and we're like, that's the arena. That's the arena sitting on his house, but that's just like the corner of it.
Oh
And
man, it reminds me of a movie, a dark movie where, like the Philadelphia experiment, when everybody got kind of fused in with the ship.
I
Have
never
you ever
saw
seen
this.
that movie?
No.
Oh, it's called the Philadelphia experiment, and they're basically were testing a way to make battleships invisible, during wartime or whatever. And so they experimented with this electricity or whatever. And what it did is it caused them to not only disappear, but it caused them to do some time travel and all kinds of stuff. But when they ended up in the destination they went to, the people that were on the ship were actually fused as a part of the ship. So their bodies would be halfway sticking out of the ship, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Like you guys had a Philadelphia experiment done on your server.
It was definitely strange. It was really obnoxious. So what that does is it basically costs you a map at that point. You have to do a whole new map. And so all these people who have been building and building on the brand new Minecraft map are now upset with us because we had to, change the map. And it's happened so many times. Like I can't even count now. Like I've lost count.
Well, if I don't know, I used to do this on the when I had a Minecraft server where somebody would build something and they would like send me a message saying, "Hey, I really built this. I'm proud of it and everything. Can we save it?" And so what I would do is using World Edit is I would go to where they built something, right? And I would basically select the whole thing and save it onto the server in a special file that only World Edit can use, right?
Yeah.
And so then if something was to ever happen to the map, I can paste that back into the world. So that's an option. At least Minecraft has options like that. The Forest and Tug and
No, yeah.
they're not going to have options like that.
They're all alpha games. They're all, just getting their bearings. And it's cool. It's really fun to play a game when it's first being developed and have that opportunity to like help develop it with the community. I mean, that's a big thing. Like early release is getting a lot of criticism right now. The way some developers go about doing early release and early access. Not early access is what I mean to say, not early release. And yeah, there's just a lot of criticism behind it right now with just some of the ways they go about it. Like they have these weird pricing models, and people sometimes are really excited, and other times are like, "You're ripping us off. We don't even know if you're going to finish this game, and you're charging too much." And then the developer's like, "Well, I need the money so I can make the damn game." And it's this whole back and forth. But if done
also,
right, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, sometimes these alpha games or these not pre-release, but um, you know, uh, these games that you play before it's actually finished or completed. I mean, for me anyway, I find that when I play a game that is in early access or something like that, I've played it out, already. And so it's not even released yet, and I'm pretty much done with the game. And I've already, I'm bored now with the game. So I've moved on to other new games that have come out. So I would imagine that could be a problem for early access as well, and it could really hurt game developers if they're not careful. Now, if they keep continually putting in like incredible content, like every update, and I see the Forest doing this. The Forest does, and what it does is they have a timer. When you first log into the game, there's a timer there, and it tells you when the next major update is. So you're looking forward to that. And so because there's a countdown. And so like if it's in 3 days, you're going, okay, in 3 days we're going to have some incredible content. In between there, they'll give little patches here and there to either fix bugs or add something or something. But the major update is every 21 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is saving the Forest, and I think that's what makes it, it makes it
cool.
much more. Yeah, but when you get an early access game that pops out with a patch here and there sometimes, and nothing really major changes, I get bored of the game. I'm going to move on.
Yeah, I think going back to Minecraft for a sec, I think we're about to see that even though Minecraft is fully released, people are still looking forward to more content, and I think somewhere it was said that. Somewhere it was said the next update for Minecraft is going to be really far off. Like it's going to be a long time before we start seeing anything about that update.
There's no snapshots, nothing anymore. I haven't seen nothing.
And I mean,
it's like dead in the water.
That's a whole issue. We did a show on it back when Microsoft went and bought Mojang, and that's basically what's happening right now. So it's just kind of frustrating as someone who's trying to get away from Minecraft right now. Play something a little bit different. When you play a game for a while and you realize this is the same thing, like it may not look like Minecraft, it may have different features than Minecraft, but Minecraft really inspired a lot of this genre. Even if Minecraft didn't directly inspire Planet Explorers, for example, to the gamer, it did. Does that make sense?
It's very similar. Now, of course, there's a lot more building. You got a lot more freedom of building in Planet Explorers than you would in Minecraft, because it's down to the minute detail. I mean, you can make things look exactly like, like you can make something like in your favorite video game, like a weapon or something. You can make it in Planet Explorers look exactly like that weapon, because it's it goes all the way down to the smallest pixel rather than just a block when you're building with blocks. So your building is going to be a lot more
detailed.
A lot more detailed, yes. But other than that, yeah, it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing.
It just it kind of, what I'm trying to say here is like, if you're someone who's played Minecraft and now you're playing Planet Explorers, even if the developer was like, I made this, I thought of this game long before Minecraft. You're playing it because you like games like Minecraft. Minecraft has opened the doors for indie games, and it's opened the doors for, these survival.
A great example is Worm Online. That was way before Minecraft. As a matter of fact, Notch was the original developer of Worm Online. But anyway, that was way before Minecraft, and maybe that's what inspired Notch to come up with the way Minecraft works, was because of Worm Online, because it was one of the first ones that I can think of where you can actually build your own house, and have your own land and stuff in. But that brings us to life is feudal.
Yeah. Now there's Life is Futile,
It's
exactly, and it's inspired by Worm Online. They even say that on their website. And it's good that things inspire one another. You know, it's so cool. Like, Worm Online was a fun game, but it was tedious. We've talked a lot about that game too. It's a very tedious game. And we've talked about
ways they could fix it.
Yeah,
and it's
Life
incredible.
Is Futile
Life is Futile did that. Yeah. Yes, they took it. It says, okay, let's do that, but let's make it like people, you know. I consider us the people who can't see themselves stuck in a game, terraforming for hours on end, just hitting a pickaxe against a rock for an hour, you know, trying to get that area flat, you know. Whereas in Life is Futile, it won't take as long. It may take a few minutes, see, but it's the same concept. That's what's so cool about it, and can't wait for them to have a sale because I'm not going to buy it for $40.
But how long will you end up playing it? Like, before you get kind of bored? Like, I think for me, it's not a problem that I was bored with Minecraft. I think the problem is I was bored with thinking of things to build. And the games usually end up being about building. I'm not a very creative person, like that, as my viewers have seen. I can't think of these awesome, crazy structures to build. I can't keep myself busy in Minecraft long enough to start building. So I like the survival aspect. I like, okay, my character is dying. He needs food. What do I do? Maybe I'll go out and find some food. But eventually in Minecraft, in a lot of these games, you become efficient and you get all the resources you need to survive. You'll have all the supplies you need to build. You have all the food you need to survive. You have all the defenses you need against mobs. And then it becomes a game of like, well, what else can I build? And that's when you get bored. And I mean, all these games seem to have that big problem. I mean, Planet Explorers has quests. That's great. Life is Futile so far. It seems like mostly a building game. But again, too soon to tell. It's too new. Tug, again, same thing. Becomes about building. Some survival, but Tug is pretty easy. Like, there's just food everywhere, just growing on trees, and you can just stuff in your face. And it's, you know.
What saves Minecraft, and you'll agree with me on this, what really saves Minecraft to keep them in the game, what keeps us from getting bored of it, is the modding.
Yeah, exactly.
I could put in Dr. Zark's Mo creatures in Minecraft, and it would be a whole new game to me. It's a whole new game.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
That's like a whole other thing where you know, these mods can
you can't
add
do
those
that.
goals.
Yeah, you can't do that with Tug, at least yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Now, from what I understand, they're possibly going to open the door for modding, which is going to be great.
Yeah,
but
I think my boredom with these survival games is what's driven me back to playing an RPG right now, like WoW, because in WoW I don't have to think about what I'm supposed to do for fun. The game gives me that, and that's what games did, you know. And now we're seeing this whole genre of games come out where you get to decide what you do, and you're like, oh, the possibilities are endless, and then you realize, oh, the possibilities are endless. And here I am again trying to build something, but I don't know. It's just, I think the whole thing, the reason this topic came up tonight is because of our indie spotlight. And I really want to get into this because we've seen games like this too. I'm not saying that this game is like a mind-blowing, groundbreaking, totally original game, but it is in the sandbox survival genre, but it's a little bit different. And so we're going to get into tonight's indie spotlight.
Awesome games you've probably never heard of. It's time for the indie spotlight.
All right. So tonight's indie spotlight is RimWorld, and I want to thank Mr. Weem from Weemcast for turning me onto this game because I just recorded 2 more episodes today. I did 1 episode that came out today. So if you want to go check it out, I'm going to leave links for that on everythingnoob.com in the show notes. But RimWorld is a top-down survival game where it's kind of like an RTS where you control the little characters on the screen and tell them what to do.
Right.
But there's building. So it's not like Age of Empires where there's structures, you know what I mean? Like
already pre-made structures, correct.
Yeah. You get all the materials and your characters are out there mining and gathering wood and stuff, and you have to build the base by hand. You draw the walls, and that, like, okay, this is going to be the building where they store their food. This is going to be the building that like keeps all their power and stuff like that. And this is going to be the prison. Like, you can imprison people. There's just like a lot of elements to this game that's in alpha. It's alpha 7 right now, and yeah, every update they do is very significant and it adds a ton of stuff. And already it seems like a complete game. It's not buggy from what I can tell at all, from what I've played. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's a ton of fun. And I think, for me, I figured out why I like it so much more at the moment than I do games like Minecraft. And it's simply because I have to build things, but it's not about design. Like, everything you build is going to look like a box, whether you like it or not. It's just...
Right, you don't have no
drawing
3
the
dimensions
walls.
to it.
Yeah. You're just walling things in, and when you close it off, a ceiling pops up over it, and you're done. And it's all about getting your little characters out there to survive. They have to go get food and stuff like that, and survival isn't easy. Like, there are natural disasters that'll come and, like, screw with you. There are bandits and pirates that'll come and raid your base.
Oh, wow.
If you don't have defenses. Imagine an RTS game where your enemy isn't one you can just go attack.
And it's random, so you don't know when or where it's going to happen. So it's not like, some games where you're playing a game and, oh, yeah, in a few minutes the tornado's going to come by. I mean, there's no games like that. But you know what I mean? It's random. You don't know when these things are going to take place. It's not like there's a set time when the bandits come after you, right?
Yeah. It's totally random. Now, there's also like features in the game that allow you to choose your story progression. Like, the one I'm playing is like this slow curve that kind of, it starts you off with like a couple little things, and then as time goes on, it gets more and more challenging. But you can play a couple other ways. I think you can play where it's like completely challenging all the time, or you can play where it's completely random. Like, sometimes it's easygoing, and other times you're just getting killed by everything. But
right.
It's so cool. So from what I've seen of it so far, and my experiences in it, what I really liked was the fact that the other NPCs, like, okay, I'll give you an example. And this is kind of a spoiler for the first episode, but whatever. A guy wanders into town, and he's not hostile. He's just there. And I'm like, okay, I can't do anything with this guy. At the time, I didn't know how to imprison them. So he was just kind of there.
Oh,
he didn't want to join the colony. He just wanted to chill. I'm like, well, I don't like that. So I decided to shoot at him. Oh, no, wait. I remember now. He was chilling, and then I got a message that he was being attacked by a boar. Like, this was my problem. And so I decided to shoot the boar, miss the boar, hit him. Like, the characters can have bad aim. So he died. The boar got killed. Also in the crossfire. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have this dead guy here. What do I do? So I had one of the other NPC, or one of my guys, carry him off into my junk pile. And
oh my God, you could do all this?
Yeah, so I have the little body sitting in my junk pile. I'm like, well, what else can I do with it? And if you right-click it, you can strip him of like all his clothes and belongings, his guns and stuff. And so I did that, and I had one of the other characters wear all his clothes. And now I just had this corpse just sitting there. And he was rotting. Like, he was depressing everybody. So I had to take care of that. Yeah, you can dig graves, and that's what I had to do to like fix it. So
see, no, that's what I like about Animal Crossing. It's the same kind of deal. Yeah, because somebody will wander. Yeah, because somebody could just wander into your little circle of area and you go, who's this? Oh, okay, well, maybe I can buy stuff from it, or maybe I can interact with this somehow, this person or this animal.
That game's a little more kid-friendly. You can't
kill the
animals.
I know. But I mean, but it's just interesting how something can just wander in, and it's an NPC of some sort, and he doesn't want to join your colony. What do you do with him?
Yeah, like you can do all sorts of stuff in this game. I was watching the developer go over some features in Alpha 7, and this is a guy that actually, I guess, worked on BioShock, from what I can tell. That's
wow, yeah, there's a lot of those people that have branched out and are doing different things now.
Yeah, it's so cool because he's going over all the features in the game, and he had a character who was incapacitated. They were in the hospital wing, laying in bed, and the little doctor guy was running around. He's like, okay, well, we need to do something about this. Let's see what's wrong with him first. And they click on the incapacitated player, and it's like missing left leg, and their right eye was gone. They were missing an eye and a leg. He's like, well, we can fix this. We can give them a few different options. There's a bionic leg, but that's too expensive right now. Let's just give them a peg leg. And so the guy just grabs a piece of wood and does something, and now the character supposedly has a peg leg. And then he's
What?
like, so, okay, now he can hobble around. He's a little bit slower, but he's got it, he can still work. But now he's really slowed down because of that eye. He's having trouble seeing. Let's give him a bionic eye, which is actually going to be even better than his old eye. And so he goes and grabs the materials and gives him his bionic eye. And now he's resting. Like, the character is okay. He's going to recover. And he's like, well, let's make some money off of him. Why not? We're going to take his left kidney because he doesn't need both. He can live
my
with that one.
God.
And so he takes the kidney and then he goes to sell it later for a profit. And this is all like one little thing you can do. Meanwhile, all your other colonists are around like chopping trees and doing their work to keep the colony up.
That's crazy.
So you could just like take the time to do these things, when you're established. I'm struggling to like get myself a hospital wing because my characters are getting themselves hurt and I have no way to medicate them. So it's hard. It's a hard game. Even when you're established, anything could happen, and that's the kind of thing that's going to keep me playing this game for a while.
It sounds like yes. I mean, if it's just a simple thing where you got 3 guys and they build stuff and they go out and farm and all that stuff, that's just like every other game, right?
Yeah.
But this one has a little bit of character to it. Where you got wandering NPCs coming in. Like you said, you can do major things with hurt characters.
Yeah.
You can steal their kidneys and sell them. Whatever.
You can like, if someone comes in your town, I'm not mistaken, you can capture them and take their kidneys or something. You can.
Oh my God!
It's really open ended and a lot of fun. The goal is to imprison them and then convert them to join your colony, and then you get another person. And they all have their own skills. Like, some of them can do things better than others. One of my guys can't do crap. Like, he is just useless. The only thing he's good at is shooting. So he's my like go-to guy if I start to get attacked or if I need to hunt something. That's it. Otherwise, he just mopes around. That's 1/3 of my entire colony moping around and contributing nothing. And meanwhile, one guy's a workhorse. He mines everything, he builds everything, he fixes everything. And while my third guy is like the doctor, and he can medicate people. And I think that's it. That's really all. He can also haul things. So he'll help the guy mining once in a while by hauling materials. But that's it. That's my little rinky-dink group of people.
Well, I just found something that might interest you.
What?
There are mods for that game.
Yeah, there are. I haven't explored them at all because I'm trying to. Same with Minecraft. I knew there were mods for Minecraft when I started playing.
Animal husbandry, yeah. Realistic weapons. I mean, they got all kinds of neat things going on here with this game.
I want to experience the game as it is first, and then get into modding later.
I've got to get this game.
You do. It's awesome. Oh my gosh, I
don't have the money right now, so I have to wait.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I was really relieved because I was trying to do something new for the channel for a bit while I take a break from Tug. I'm waiting for Tug to update a little bit. I might do 1 or 2 more episodes of it, and then I'm waiting for it to get a couple updates before going into more, because it's just been, it's been kind of slowing down for me right now with the fact that I may have to start over once they update.
Right.
It's kind of discouraging. But anyway, that is our indie spotlight for the evening, RimWorld. It will be linked in the show notes so you can know where to pick it up. Excuse me. And also my my series you'll be able to find on everythingnoob.com as well, if you're interested.
Awesome.
If you're like Dreadlow and don't have the scratch right now.
I don't have the scratch right now. Dez, send it to me. No, it's kidding.
Send me a copy now.
Send me But yeah, it looks like a really interesting. Now, one of the things I did note when I looked at this game before the show was that the artwork is very familiar to me.
Yeah. I was actually torn between the game you're about to say and this one.
Yeah, it was just Prison Architect. I mean, and inspiration is inspiration. I don't in any way think that the person is copying somebody else. I mean, it's just that artwork is just I mean, you'll see the same artwork in different artwork. Like for instance, who was a great example? I mean, World of Warcraft. Their artwork and the way they have their tunes and everything all set up is kind of cartoonish in a sense. They were pretty much original, and then other people copied after them. Like Alad's Line is very similar artwork, and so, but it's a different game, so it's it's okay. It's just inspired by, and so I noticed that right away with RimWorld. Was the little characters are very similar to the characters in Prison Architect, and some of the artwork, the building layouts and things like that are very similar.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's it's obviously a completely different game.
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot of fun just playing so far what I've done in it, and I'm hoping to kind of become more efficient. My stockpiles are just kind of everywhere right now. I got stuff everywhere. I haven't properly cleaned up the area, so building has been a pain in the ass. And I'm in one of the biomes where there's just a lot of trees, and I didn't anticipate that. I chose the biome I was in because I wanted grass and stuff, and I didn't realize there'd be trees everywhere. So I'm just kind of dealing with that. But it is a fun game. Definitely recommend that you check it out. And if not, just keep it locked into my channel, playing it. Weem's gonna start playing it again too. So. Lots and lots of RimWorld out there. It's a fun game.
That's good.
So we also wanted to talk a little bit tonight about our times in WoW. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how we're all playing MMOs, and Dreadlow and I are back into World of Warcraft for a little bit, following the upcoming expansion pack.
Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, which is what most people have done to get their level 90 boost. And I'm doing pretty well because Mojo and I are linked. I did the account linking that you can do. Recommend
right.
So we're at level 83 now, I think. And it's taken no time at all. You get triple XP for playing with your linked friend.
So you don't even need the boost.
Not really. It's been a lot of fun. I've also learned that when you get the boost, you want to be at level 60 because all your
get
professions.
All your professions get boosted. Everything gets boosted at that point.
Yeah. So her and I will probably do another character each and get it to level 60 and then stop and then boost them because that'll be That'll make a little more sense. The professions have been a pain in the ass, man. I haven't been able to really work on them because we're moving so fast. I can't collect the materials fast enough, or slow enough, I should say, that I need. So now I'm trying to farm silk, and farming silk is almost impossible because there's only a few areas that are really good, and everyone's there farming it. So, or I could pay for it, and these are just first world problems in MMOs. If you want to do your professions right, it's good to go at the pace the game was originally designed at.
Well, I was talking to you about leveling, right?
Yeah.
And how I like to level. And some people, I guess, like to have a guild member or whatever run them through dungeons like 5-6 times, and then they get like 4 or 5 levels higher within a few minutes. I've told you, I shared with you my problem with that, and it's the fact that I get 5 levels above where I'm at, and then I go back to the area I was at, and now I'm lost. I got to start somewhere because I'm too high a level for the quests in that area. So World of Warcraft has those boards where you can click on the board and it leads you to the next area that's at your level, and you can start from there, right?
Yeah.
The problem is then you're going to an area and you got all these quests. You start collecting them all, and then you start doing them in whatever order seems like it's right, but then sometimes the quest leads you somewhere else, and you end up going way out of the way, and you end up going and then you have to backtrack and come back. And I found something that helps me, and so I've actually leveled from 35 to 54 in 6 or 7 hours, just questing. And that's because I only done the essential high XP quests, and I did it with this thing that I have.
Oh my god,
But
you're starting to sound like a commercial.
I don't want to share it. That's why I don't want to share it on here. But I'm just saying that's how I like to level.
I pooped my
I
pants a lot, and then I found this product.
It's something that it's something I'll have a video up on YouTube that'll get people to go there, right? Because I've already made the video, but I just haven't put it up yet.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is something I feel like should be built in. I really do. I think it's something that World of Warcraft should have already there for people who want to get a higher level. It would help them if they knew where to go or what to do. Now me, I've never played a Horde character, so I don't know anything about any of the areas I went to. It was all brand new to me. If I would have went back and done an Alliance character, I'd know, okay, that quest is stupid. I already done that one. I've done that one, and it doesn't give me enough XP. I'll go here. I kind of know where to go. But I'm playing a brand new faction that I've never played before, and I don't know what I'm doing. I get lost. I'm stuck in an area literally for a couple hours, and I barely have even gotten half experience for, whatever, and it just takes me forever. So I'm really glad for stuff like this, but it should be something I think that World of Warcraft should have in the game that you can have as an option. Like to select only this, only show me the quests that mean something, and then show me the order I should do them in. Don't show me everything, and then I go out there and pick up quests that are worthless, that don't do anything for me.
The problem is WoW is really obsessed with its lore and stories and sub-stories, and I don't think they'll do that because they want people to like immerse themselves. I don't know anyone who reads those stupid storylines each quest provides. I'm sure
I
they're out
watch
there,
a lot of
but
videos. Nobody reads them.
No,
they
just
click accept.
They click accept and they go, and then if they get confused, that's when they'll read it and go, "What's going on here? Why can't I figure this out?" And usually with me, it's something that's in my inventory for the quest that I don't know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just I like the idea of putting it in there, but the WoW is already like dumbed itself down to like this really super easy mode. I don't think they'll do it just because it's one of those things like if you want it, you can go get it optionally as an add-on, but if you put it in the game, those few people who do like to read and do like doing quests that maybe don't give them so much XP are going to be frustrated because they're going to know now that this is a waste of their time. This add-on is like, hey, you're wasting your time, by the way, but it's cool,
Yeah, exactly. They're going to go, wait a minute here.
It'd be cool if add-ons in like that were in the game, but you had a button to turn them on or off. Just like you'd apply.
Actually,
the
yeah,
add-on.
you can with this.
Well,
it's right up on the mini-map. You just shut it off.
But you still had to go through an install process.
No, I went through the Curse client.
Oh, I forgot about that thing. Yeah.
Well, actually, no. With this though, the Curse client has the base one, but in order to get all the other stuff included, you have to go to their website because it's like 4 or 5 add-ons for this one add-on. So you have to go. They didn't want to put it all on Curse separately. They want it all in one. So you get a zip file. You go to their website. You put it in. It's very easy. You just plop it into the add-ons directory. Boom, you're done. But as far as as far as setting it up, it's already set. As soon as you go on, you select the area that you're in. Boom, it loads all the quests that you need to do for that area. Boom, it's done.
I liked when they added Quest Helper into the game because that's the first thing I did when I started WoW over again. I'd go and get Quest Helper because it showed you the areas where the monsters were going to be, and it told you on the side of the screen like which quests you were on, and you can select them. And they basically took Quest Helper and copied it into the game itself, which was incredibly smart. Because
if you remember the original way that it gave you quests and stuff, like when like you said, you had something in your inventory you're supposed to click on at a specific moment. Quest Helper did what now World of Warcraft does, where it put it next to the quest in your quest list. So you knew that you had to click that at some point because it was there.
Well,
but before it was never like that. They never had it up there. It was never there. You had to have Quest Helper installed in order for you to get that.
That and like it told you like go to this lake that you haven't even discovered yet because you haven't walked that far, And so you'd be wandering around forever. Like it said, oh, southeast of here is this lake. Go there. The only thing that gave you was southeast. So you just have to like walk southeast. And then inevitably you'd hit a mountain you couldn't climb. So you have to walk all the way around the mountain. You get all lost. And it was too frustrating. I could not play the game like that. So that was necessary. Like that made questing a whole lot easier.
Oh yeah.
In World of Warcraft. But you know, I'm just kind of just as I'm playing it, I've noticed how much they've dumbed it down, and I'm happy about it because I like, you know,
it's fun.
I like entry-level MMOs. But
it's funny because as much as I complain about some of the changes they make, as soon as I try those changes, they're fun. You know what I mean? It's nothing that's going to hurt me. I mean, some of these really serious World of Warcraft players might be upset about it. You know, they can't keep track of like armor points or anything like that anymore, or whatever. I'm not sure exactly as much. I don't know that much about that kind of detail. But some of these real serious WoW players, I mean, they got it down to a science. You know, I mean, they know, you know, if your defense points are this high and your DPS, you can't do that because you'll pull aggro every time when you go into a dungeon, you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, there's some real serious players out there. I got booted from a dungeon because of the fact that my defense points were too high and I was pulling aggro from the tank. And I'm going, what the hell? So, you know, and then other things that I learned, you know, along the way, you know, make sure that when you're in a dungeon, you turn off your growl on your pet so that you don't pull aggro from the tank. But I mean, it's stuff like that that these people are really they really are going to be upset about because of the fact that those things have changed. They've dumbed it down, like you said. There's no way to track stuff like that anymore.
I just think the whole thing is easier. Like I have a much easier time killing things. I'll give you an example. The other day we were playing and we were in a dungeon. I've never been in this dungeon before, but there was a boss and it was guarded by two other people, so two other NPCs. And the leader of our group was like stopping us every 5 minutes because he was this pro and he wanted to like tell us how to play. So he's like, okay, Mage, you go over to the right and attack that guy. And then Hunter, you go to the left and attack that guy. I'm going to go in the middle and attack this person. And your goal is to keep them off of me. And I'm like, what? This is the first dungeon I've played out of like the dozens I've played now that someone's actually planning something. No one does that anymore. It just you just
well,
run
that's
through
the way it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah,
seriously, it's like you plan stuff out. Leroy Jenkins, remember that, right?
Yeah,
that was unplanned.
I even said Leroy. Just kidding. But anyway, like, so he's sitting there like planning this whole thing and frustrating us because we're like, can we just kill him? Like, this is dumb. Because that's how the game works now. You just go and run through the dungeon and kill things. That's, you know, there might be some planning later on, but in this particular dungeon, there was nothing that needed planning. He's just overthinking
just kill all the
everything.
ads until you get to the boss. Yeah, exactly.
So he's sitting there planning it. I go and ask him, I'm like, are you like an old school player, man? Because this is the first dungeon I've been in where planning is you know, someone thought it was necessary. And he ignored me. Like, he said something stupid and just moved on. I'm like, yeah, this guy like is after every turn, he's like planning the next move and telling us about it. I'm like, dude, no other dungeon is like this anymore. Like, there's no way you know something we don't hear. Like, I'm a noob at this game. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but he was just sitting there frustrating us. And every time we did anything, he's like, hey, I have a tip for you. Do it this way next time. And we're like, uh-huh.
Oh,
thanks.
yeah.
Shut up. Like, we know
like
what
I
we're
said,
doing.
some people are seriously so involved in it. They've got this down to a science. And I just hated it, you know, because I was new and I didn't know that the armor I was wearing was making my defense too high for me to go into a dungeon as DPS. I didn't know that. I didn't know how that worked. The game doesn't teach you that. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It doesn't tell you stuff about that. I learned, you know, I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't know if all that stuff is still in effect. I haven't even taken a look, but yeah, there were some serious players. There was a lot of things I couldn't do. I had to remove armor just so I can go into this area because they would get all upset.
You want to play a scientific game nowadays, WoW is not not the one. I think MOBAs have really cornered that market on like games that involve a lot of math and planning.
Yeah.
People have MOBAs down to a science, and by MOBAs I mean League of Legends, Smite, games like that. And I play
Right.
Smite a lot. I just have a couple people I play with. Otherwise, I don't touch the game. But if I'm not playing with my friends, I hate it because everyone's criticizing the way I play. Or at least they were. I'm a little bit better now as long as I stick to the characters I know how to play. But yeah, you really have to have it down to a science. Like, if you're not doing something the way everyone's used to you doing it, you just get yelled at like crazy. And it's all of them. Like, people...
League of Legends is brutal.
Yeah, people are
It's brutal.
so mean. And there's just no way to play with them. It's I got to play with my friends. You're stupid. I can't even have fun playing this because they're all... Okay, you remember... I'm gonna bring this to esports here. Remember when you were in high school and you played football, but you weren't really, you're not a football guy. You just played it because it was gym class and you had to.
Right.
And then all the other students that liked football were taking it super seriously, and they were going through like all the plays and stuff and telling you where you needed to be.
Yeah.
That is how MOBAs are right now, because I think a big part of it is esports. I think esports is taking them and putting so much like camera action on them, like on Twitch and stuff. You're seeing people become celebrities, athletes. They're calling them esport athletes, basically.
Oh my God.
And you can follow your
That's
favorite
crazy.
ones. And I think that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
I
MOBA
just like
person.
the fact that, yeah.
I'm not a follower of these things. I just love that it exists because I love gaming. The problem is when you're playing with other people who want to be like their legendary, people they're fans of, they're going to take it super seriously, just like those assholes in gym class who, gave you crap because you couldn't play football. And it's so infuriating. It's like if you want to go pro, first off, don't play in this casual playlist. It's called casual for a reason.
Right.
Get the hell out of here. And secondly, let people have fun. It's still a game, and it's a game in every sense of the word. Like, you can probably argue like with football, it's a game, but it's real people bashing into each other.
Yeah, save all the science to the PvP aspect of World of Warcraft. When you get end game and you're in tournaments and things like that, then you use your science. But if I'm just going through a dungeon, let me be. Okay, my defense is a little high. I'll learn on my own. Or let me know, hey, your defense is a little high. Let me show you what you need to do is just make sure your armor is this or whatever. Help me. No, don't just kick me out of the freaking... there was a time when you can kick people out of dungeons. Somebody,
you can still do
one
it.
person...
You can vote.
Yeah. And one person would host it or whatever, however it worked, and you get kicked from a dungeon. And they did it to me because my defense points were too high. It's like, what the heck?
Get out of here.
Whatever.
Yeah.
To help me, don't kick me, So then that made me, of course, go nutso on the internet going, what is defense points? And then I learned all that, and I go, oh, that's what it is. And so now I know, what. So, yeah, it was...
It's cool that video games can have that much to them, to where a lot of
I don't think
people...
it was meant. I don't think Blizzard meant for people to know and be that in depth in the numbers and stuff. The numbers are there, but I don't think they thought that somebody would actually take it and say your defense points have to be this low, or whatever, or this high, or however to do what you got to do. I don't think they meant for. It's just people figured it out.
Yeah,
they figured out the mechanics of the game and figured out, well, if your defense points are this high, you're going to pull a little aggro. You're going to pull from the tank. Well, it's true when you're in there and you're, but the tank has to be good enough to be able to pull it right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. It's cool that games can have that many layers to them, but it's frustrating for people like me who just are there to play the game. If we do bad at a dungeon and we're dying or whatever, it's just frustrating.
It's a comical time. I laugh. I think it's funny.
And that's a lot of the people I've played with these days are kind of like that. But it's frustrating, and if it's too frustrating, I'll leave the dungeon and go do something else for a while.
I'll wait till I'm a higher level and come back.
Yeah, but other people are like, no, we have to get this, and you don't see it as much now in WoW because they've dumbed it down so much. but I do see it a ton still in MOBAs because that game, they really work on the science behind those. Like, you got to have the right set of items. They need to be upgraded, and you have to buy them in a certain order. You can even go so far as to level up which spells are going to be maxed out first. I let the computer do that for me. So,
yeah. Where if you have this spell, you can't get this spell because it would counter. It will make it. It will mess up what it's something, or however. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like you got to get the right spells for the right reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to get the right equipment, and if you don't, you're either a genius because you know something someone else doesn't, or most of the time you're an asshole because you don't know how to play and you're just buying stuff that looks kind of cool. And then like for example, my friend Frodo, him and I play Smite all the time. It shows you who you're fighting against before the match starts. Not while you're selecting characters, but right before the match starts after everyone's selected. And if you're playing against 3 people of the same type, he's like, okay, don't buy the items you normally get. Instead, buy these items because, these people are, they're all magic. And we can beat them because they're idiots. They all got mages, and we can beat them, but we have to get these items to do it. Even that stuff is stuff I haven't grasped yet because I'm just I'm just there to, like, do the things I normally do and kill people in Smite and, the end. But
yeah, they got it all figured out.
Yeah, unfortunately though we are running out of time here, but
wow.
Bam,
that
way
was
to kill
quick.
an hour. Exactly. But we do want to thank you guys so much for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. And yeah, Jemmy will be back next week. She was out with a cold, or she is sick. It's kind of that time of year. If you can tell, I'm kind of stuffed up today. I'm all
yeah, I was sick a couple days ago too. Had to miss some work.
Yeah. So she should be back next week. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else, like any other little announcements. I'm going to be putting more of my videos and stuff on everythingnoob.com. So if you're not following my YouTube channel, or you don't know where it is, or if you're hearing about a video or something I'm talking about, be sure to check everythingnoob.com. Dreadlow, I think you're going to do the same thing. I think you said that. I won't promise
What's
for
that?
you. Putting some of your videos on Everything Noob. I won't promise
yeah.
anything,
I can do that. Yeah.
Your call. I'm just saying. We're always doing stuff outside of the podcast, so if you're interested, be sure to visit everythingnoob.com. Links to all of our social media and things like that. You can always tweet us at everythingnoob. You can leave a voicemail if you want to be on the show yourself, just to say hi or have a topic suggestion or whatever the case may be. All those things are on everythingnoob.com. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.